Hey guys, it's time for paint talk. We are starting a brand new piece of furniture, guys. This is not an antique. I'm going to start with a shipwrecked verdigris wax, which as you can see is turquoise. So the main color is going to be this old 57. Got to come in with a bright, bold base coat. I have a wax brush that I like to use with colored waxes. So the actual first thing I'm going to do is just dab a little bit. Look at this luscious, huge jar of turquoise wax. Go straight into this medallion.
I knew that'd be the first thing you would do.
I'm going to mix some bright yellow pigment in with my marquee and see what kind of orange I can get. So right now I am just pouring the yellow into this. This is only about a third full, this marquee. And this is the bright yellow pigment. So I have this and I'm just going to stir it up. Adding a little water to it too, just to thin it. So it's just a little bit brighter. Got that bright yellow in there, and I'm just going to jump in and start putting it on the base coat of this. I have so much fun with this makeover. Y'all excited? The orange and then the red that I made with the yellow. So it's a little bit brighter than a traditional marquee. I'm going to actually spray this first because I want a very thin coat. I'm loading my brush simultaneously. Has to go through the ugly, awkward stage for it to become an art piece. You have to embrace it, understand it, and don't run away from it. So this brush is my favorite. This is the Turquoise Iris brush, and it's called the VIP.
Wow.
It's a combination of the fire starter and the marquee. It's fine when you paint a piece of furniture, it actually highlights all the architecture. Everybody, thanks for hanging out. This is so much fun. I can't wait to keep going with this piece. Hey guys, time for paint talk. It's 8:30 Central Time. This is where we hang out, we talk about paint, we talk about all kinds of different things. I am going to take the hardware, just like that large medallion. They're the same design. So I have my colored wax, and I'm just going to smush that in there. I just am mushing that down in here. Look at that. Look at the goodness here. That's all I'm doing for this, and then we're going to paint the bottom section of this. I'm just taking my brush, getting it right down in there. See how pretty that is? It's just a white cotton rag. It's like the old t-shirt cloth. I buy a box of them at the hardware store. And that is that. I have my water girl. So I'm going to start with my 6-inch VIP brush from Paint Pixie. And I keep it in press and seal because I knew I'd be back. So Sunday night, I just wrapped it up in this. Dusty is a little bit smaller, you guys. This is half the size of the VIP. And I'm going to use this one now. Instead, we have the base coat all on this. We're going in with some bold, beautiful turquoise. Thank you. DIY paint is a clay-based paint. To me, it is exactly what I love because there's absolutely no smell, there's no VOCs, and it is the most natural paint out there. Which my phone completely died.
Papa, can you hear me?
It's not a thong.
Although,
Stop.
it could be.
Stop.
Somehow.
I'm not looking at you.
I
can tell what you're doing with that mask.
Whoa, honey.
Why did you yell
That
like
was
that?
so
Make
loud.
that sound, you turkey.
Goodness gracious.
I have this huge, massive wardrobe behind me. But the next colors that I'm going to be adding are Old 57, which is a really great turquoise, as you can imagine. Picture an old 57 Chevy pickup. And then I have mermaid tail, so it's a little bit deeper. I have a sanding sponge that I'm going to have wet. I want to take this piece that's only about 20 years old and, well, make it look like it's much older than 20 years old. I took my water and actually sprayed down the DIY paint. This brush is what I'm going to start with. This is the Caddy from Paint Pixie. Now what I love. Just doing this right here on my palette, tapping a little bit into each one of these colors. Old 57, mint chip, and mermaid tail. Sanding sponge.
Uh-oh.
Water bottle.
We're going to get crazy at this.
Make it look rustic. This piece is 20 years old. I want it looking old.
Oh, like how old?
Like 100 years old. Let's just let this go because I gotta let this dry. This is wet, and the paint is wet. I'm spraying water on my palette. Caddy, and the reason I'm using the long bristle brush, I want it to dust over all of these places. I don't want to fill all of this in with paint. I want it to just go over it. So all that orange is saying, hey, don't cover me up. And I'm not. And I'm just kind of pulling the paint back out from the wet, creating some good texture, and that's yummy. And this is why the caddy brush has worked so well. It's because it's allowing that orange to still peek back through without getting in all of those nooks and crannies.
It's probably about 220.
I grabbed my oldest one,
Yeah.
and because I know I'm tossing it.
It probably started out as a 220 grit, and then now it's probably now about a 320 or 400.
I found it in the bottom of the basket. I am wiping off this paint while it's wet. It's like gray. Nope, it's make sure you pick a good attitude. I said it wrong.
Nope.
Attitude's everything.
So pick a good one.
There it is. See, yeah. I use DIY paint. It's a clay base. I'm using Fire Starter, which you can see the bright orange. This is Carnival Red, but I have actually added a bright yellow pigment to the paint to make it even a little bit more bright. We're a long ways from being done. Add one coat of the orange and red, one coat of the blue, which is Old 57 Mermaid Tail. So right now we're going to transition these colors a little bit better than they are now. So let me get some of this red and orange action going on here. It's watered down. I'm not spraying water on here, but it's already watered down with my Water Girl on my tray. See, I'm going to go back over the blue. I'm using my dusty brush with the red. Okay, I'm going to actually go ahead and lay just a little bit of a soft mist on this piece of furniture right here where my colors are meeting. And I'm going to pull the red down in a few areas. So it's going to be thinned down. I think I'm going to grab a little bit more of the orange on the dusty. And then I'm going to grab my caddy brush. Look how good this looks. You know what? Mermaid Tail is the dark, and this is Mint Chip. I'm going to do this so I don't get too much paint. I have them side by side, and I'm going back and forth like this so I get a little bit of paint on the tip. I'm kind of mixing it a little bit. I'm going to work all of this off until it's completely gone. So I'm going to start down here. I'm just going to lightly go up. I'm not going to go back down. I'm just going up.
What teamwork does.
It makes the dream work, babe. It makes that dream work. This is the mermaid tail, and I'm using the caddy, turning it every which way over the red and orange. It covered the red thicker than I wanted to. I'm going to pull some of it back off with my sanding sponge after I wet it. Oh, this is so good. You guys gotta try this. We can put paint on this. And yes, yes. So it has the bohemian blue. This is what my sanding sponge looks like right now. Well, let's just let this yellow drip, shall we? I'm going to get my rag and I'm going to wipe some of it back off. Use our mop brush. This mop brush is from the Turquoise Iris collection. The reason I grabbed it is because it has soft bristles, really soft bristles. So I'm just going to lightly hold my brush at the end, at the tip, and I'm going to go over it so it just hits the raised areas. Yeah. We got a long ways to go. I feel like talking like that.
Waving around like you just don't care.
Let me take a deep breath. Wow. Everybody sees this.
I want to talk about me. I want to talk about number one. Me. That's the song I think.
That's a Toby Keith song, baby.
As she's applying the water, here comes the blue. Oh, it's beautiful blue. How does she do it? They probably can't even hear me. I'm talking so soft.
That's not a bad thing. I am adding some more bohemian blue sanding sponge. I worked on this piece the other night and I added a bunch of yellow, which we'll move the camera down here in a few minutes. So I'm blotting it in watered down bohemian blue. I'm just applying it for a textured look. Just applying just a little bit of paint here. I'm going to wet it. Bada bing. So I cut off my little D, made it shorter. I want stiff bristles. A little bohemian blue. I'm going to wet this area over here. This is awesome. I am loving the texture that these tools, the sand. Right, we're gonna add black wax. We're gonna keep working on distressing it. So what this is doing is adding bohemian blue. At the same time, it's distressing it. This is what I wanted you guys to see, right? Where I actually ask you to follow Paint Talks on Instagram, the Turquoise Iris Journal on Facebook and Instagram. We have 23 artists being featured in the journal this time. So that means more people are going to be able to see what they've put together, because I'm helping all of these other artists get their work out and be seen as well. So it's so important to me. Matt and I both just want to say thank you for showing up here and being with us. I'm going with Boho Kisses, unless Matt overrides it, because it's...
Well, I am the executive producer of the show.
You are.
I mean,
and you're super cute too. Sure. Can we just look at my dog for a second? Can y'all see her underneath the table with the drop cloth covering her head? I just don't understand how you can like listen but like not listen.
Do what?
Mm-hmm. All right, so I got antsy. Last night I decided I had some extra energy and I went ahead and waxed this girl. But I left this little area to kind of show you why I did what I did and tell you. So earlier in this project, we used this wax brush when we added in the verdigris wax, the shipwrecked, into this awesome medallion and into our hardware. So I have a different brush for each color. I have one for black, I have one for white, I have one for clear, and of course my colored one. So on this one, I'm only gonna need the black and the clear. I am gonna frame all of my pieces, whether you have a door or a drawer. You can create shading with wax, which is why I think it's so special. DIYs is like butter. It's creamy like a moisturizer, and you don't have to have very much. It goes a long way. So we are framing out our panels with the darker wax. Then I am doing clear on the inside of my wax in the same direction. I could do circular, and I probably end up doing that more so with the dark. I kind of do this to create shadowing. Now I have oils, and 100 years later, there's a lot of oils on here. Remember, we want this to look like it's 100 years old, not 20. So it's going to just naturally wear around the edges, especially the bottom has a longer range of dark wax along the bottom. Keep the clear on the inside, and remind yourself to not be scared of the dark wax or colored wax, because clear is your eraser. So if you get too much dark, you're gonna get the clear on your clear brush and go right back over it, wipe it down, and it will act as an eraser. It's pretty helpful to have an eraser, right, on all of our creative projects. Lastly, You can come back the next day, you can come back the next week, the next month, and you can buff this. I use the buff brush from Paint Pixie. Again, this is one of the original ones. It has lasted all of these years, and I think it's amazing, but it does the job in just a few minutes. So if you have any questions, be sure you put them down in the comments, like and subscribe, and remember that I think that you're amazing.